This is the QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Mamna Buka. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. On the second day of his Meet the People tour in Salikenni, North Bank region, President Adama Barrow warned former President Yahya Jammeh not to return to the Gambia without official authorization from the government. Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow on Wednesday presided over the commemoration of the United Nations 80th anniversary, marking 8 decades of global partnership, peace building, and development. Dr. Sheikh Omar Bitey, Mpox Incident Manager at the Ministry of Health, updated the public on the Gambia's ongoing Mpox response and expressed concern over the emerging threat of another virus, Rift Valley fever. The president of the Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce, Modu Lamin Gassama, on Wednesday paid a courtesy call on Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow to present the Chamber's achievements and update on its youth-focused programs. In sport news, the African journey to World Cup 2026 qualification is nearing its end, but for four football powerhouses, the fight continues as they face off for one final chance to reach the global stage. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. On the second day of his November-December Meet the People tour, President Adama Barrow warned former President Yahya Jammeh against returning to the Gambia without government approval. He made the remarks in response to concerns raised by speakers at his Salikenni meeting regarding Jammeh's announced intention to return. And Sumana Esonyasi reports.
The meeting in Central Badibu attracted a large crowd as Gambians from several villages in the area converged in Salikenni. Alkalo Baba Marigo, Modu Bintu Diba, a resident of Salikenni, and Fatu Keta, the women representative, all shared their development needs and concerns with the head of state. However, despite highlighting various development challenges in the region, one issue that featured prominently, as expressed by the different speakers, was the former president's recent announcement of his plans to return home after 9 years in exile.
We have seen and appreciate the ongoing road project in our district. We also appreciate your government building a hospital for us. However, we want more roads and easy access to cash when we sell our groundnuts at the end of the rainy season. I have been castigated and called all sorts of names for simply choosing to support the government's development programs in my community. But that will not deter me. If anything, it is encouraging me more. Also, I would like to hear from you what your government's stance is regarding the ex-president's planned homecoming.
When he was in power, we all know how difficult things were. You could hardly express your opinions, especially on political matters. So for me, apart from the roads and all the challenges we face here, I hope you will help us understand the situation surrounding the ex-president.
Following the speeches by Fisheries Minister Musa Drame and Agriculture Minister Demba Sabali, who answered questions and provided updates relating to their ministries, including the construction of government-funded boreholes and the supply of fertilizer and farming implements, it was President Barrow's turn. He tells the people of Salikenni that former President Jammeh cannot return to the Gambia without his approval.
He is now an ex-president, and I am the current president. Let me allay your fears. As a former head of state himself, Jammeh knows how much power a president wields. I dare him to come without my government's approval. The airport and the port are all open and free for him. He will face the consequences if he ever tries to return home without following the proper channels.
Meanwhile, on behalf of the Ministry of Gender, the president also presented a check of $2.8 million to 23 women groups in Central Badibu, consisting of 2,025 women. Answana Sonyasi for KTV News.
Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow on Wednesday presided over the commemoration of the United Nations 80th anniversary, marking 8 decades of global partnership, peace building, and development. Loli M. Kamara has the details.
The United Nations 80th anniversary was marked in a magnificent style, a moment to reflect on the organization's legacy and reaffirmed its commitment to peace, justice, and sustainable development. The UN Resident Coordinator, Carl Frederick Paul, reaffirmed the United Nations' continued commitment to partnering with the Gambian government in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. He noted that the Gambia is making determined progress through ongoing reforms to diversify the economy, advance the energy transition, enhance food security and social protection, and invest in the empowerment of youth and women.
80 years ago, in a world devastated by war, nations came together with courage and conviction to lay the foundation of a global architecture for peace and the protection of human dignity. Tonight, here in the Gambia, we celebrate that same spirit of unity, of partnership, and of faith in what we can achieve together. However, the world now faces new challenges: persistent geopolitical tension, environment emergencies, economic and social inequalities, and the urgent need to transform our development model to make them more sustainable and even more inclusive.
The Vice President of the Gambia, Mohamed B.S. Diallo, described the United Nations as one of the country's most reliable partners in its development journey since joining the organization in 1965. He noted that from strengthening democracy and promoting human rights to advancing healthcare, education, and climate action, the UN has played an instrumental role in every aspect of the Gambia's national development efforts.
As we commemorate this milestone, we must acknowledge both our achievements and the urgent work that remains. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the African Union 2063 Agenda represent our shared blueprint for prosperity, peace, and planetary health. Yet, we find ourselves at a critical moment. The impacts of climate change, the lingering effects of recent global dynamics, rising debt burdens, and geopolitical tensions threaten to reverse hard-won gains, particularly for developing states like the Gambia.
A short documentary highlighted the UN's impact in the Gambia, showcasing initiatives from rural solar energy and school feeding programs to women leading local tribunals and midwives saving lives through digital early warning systems. The event also featured cultural performances and inspiring stories of young Gambians whose lives have been transformed through UN-supported initiatives. As the world marks 80 years of the United Nations, the Gambia's partnership with the UN continues to advance governance, social inclusion, climate resilience, and sustainable livelihoods. The celebration concluded with a call for renewed global solidarity and stronger cooperation to tackle climate change, inequality, and global peace. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Dr. Sheikh Omar Bitey, the Mpox Incident Manager with the Ministry of Health, briefed the public on the Gambia's ongoing Mpox response and raised concern over the emerging threat of Rift Valley fever, a virus found in animals that can be transmitted to humans. Yafatu Gay tells us more.
Dr. Bitey says the Gambia has made significant progress in controlling the Mpox disease. He adds that efforts are underway through the Ministry of Health to secure additional vaccine doses for high-risk groups, including healthcare workers and individuals with frequent human contact.
We are having only one confirmed case of Mpox. Even that patient actually got better and has been discharged since. What we are doing at this point is to how best can we actually get the vaccine, and specifically to target those people who are actually at high risk.
However, as the Ministry of Health works to prevent the spread of Mpox, another threat has emerged, namely Rift Valley fever. RVF is a viral disease that primarily spreads from animals to humans, and studies indicate that it can also be transmitted by mosquitoes. Dr. Bitey urged the public to maintain clean surroundings, eliminate stagnant water, and sleep under mosquito nets as preventive measures to reduce the risk of infection.
What is happening is like, specifically for Rift Valley, is that Rift Valley is already in Senegal, and it's also in Mauritania. Now, in the Gambia, we have not detected any human case of Rift Valley. Now, I think a few cases were detected by the Department of Livestock in animals, specifically in the cattle in North Bank, some part of North Bank region, and also the CRR. But apart from that, we have not detected any case in human.
Those at the highest risk of contacting RVF includes farmers, butchers, veterinarians, and others who work closely with animals. Since the Gambia shares a border with Senegal, Dr. Bitey says the risk of the disease spreading into the country remains high, especially during the movement of animals and people across the border. Rift Valley fever primarily affects livestock such as cows, goats, and sheep, and can be especially deadly to young animals. While human infections are often mild, the disease can often lead to severe complications. Dr. Bitey stressed that while progress has been made against mpox, continued vigilance, community hygiene, and preventive measures are crucial to protect both humans and animals from the emerging threat of Rift Valley fever. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafat Gay.
The president of the Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce, GYCC, Modu Lamin Gassama, paid a courtesy call on Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow on Wednesday to present the Chamber's recent achievements and provide updates on its ongoing youth-focused programs and initiatives. Yafatu Gay again.
Modu Lamin Gassama, president of the GYCC, accompanied by a delegation, said the purpose of the visit was to strengthen collaboration between the government and the youth business community.
To familiarize the Vice President with some of the work of the Chamber, interventions and some of the projects that the Gambia Youth Chamber have been doing since inception in 2016 to date, which have supported over 7,700 young people across different sectors, different value chains within the trade ecosystem. And we think it's deemed necessary to brief him about that. But also part of the cooperation projects that we also have with partners, development partners that we work with currently in the Gambia, and then also to brief him in further about our upcoming 10-year anniversary, which is scheduled for 2026.
Following a closed-door meeting with Vice President Jallow, the GYCC president revealed that the Vice President responded positively to the visit, expressing strong support and encouragement for the Chamber's youth-led projects and initiatives.
He was very welcoming, and then he provided the assurances of His Excellency President Adama Barrow of the central government's commitment to supporting the trade ecosystem and also continuously engaging young people in platforms in decision-making processes, but also in accompanying these types of youth-related interventions within trade.
The visit reaffirmed the GYCC's commitment to fostering stronger partnerships with government institutions, promoting youth entrepreneurships, and advancing inclusive economic growth as young Gambians continue to play a pivotal role in driving innovation, employment, and national development. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and sport news stories. Do stay tuned.
It's time to celebrate women who lead, innovate, inspire, and empower. Join us for the GWCC Women in Business Forum and Awards Ceremony, prestigious evening, proudly organized by the Gambia Women's Chamber of Commerce, GWCC, honoring resilience, excellence, and leadership in business. The theme for this year is For All Women and Girls, Rights, Equality, and Empowerment. On that day, GWCC will give awards in the following categories: Women in STEM of the Year, Women Entrepreneur of the Year, Regional Women Agropreneur of the Year, Women in the Catering of the Year, Women in Green Business of the Year, and Lifetime Achievement Award. Be inspired, celebrate success, support women in business. Tables and tickets are available for sales. Linger table, $50,000. Garmi table, $40,000. Taru, $30,000. Jigeen Jambar individual tickets, $2,000. Mark the date, Friday, 28 November, 2025. Time, 7 p.m. onwards. Venue, Sir Dauda Kairaba Jawara Conference Center. For bookings and information, contact 2031 080 319 2823 662 3282. At GWCC, women-owned businesses are our priority. This advertisement is proudly sponsored by EU.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. At the regional course on cross-border position statistics in the Gambia, the Director General of the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, YFM, Dr. Baba Musa, highlighted the importance of training in strengthening the banking sector. Loli M. Kamara reports.
The West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, YFM, is a regional organization dedicated to building capacity among officials from West African member states. It focuses on strengthening expertise in macroeconomic management, debt management, financial sector oversight, and governance. YFM's programs are delivered in partnership with international institutions, including the IMF and the World Bank, addressing topics of global relevance. Participants were introduced to emerging challenges such as new financial intermediation, global value chains, climate-related finance, and the economic impacts of COVID-19, which have created increased demands for accurate economic data. Dr. Baba Musa, Director General of YFM, expressed gratitude to the International Monetary Fund resource team for their unwavering technical support and collaboration.
Distinguished participants, the theme of this training could not be more relevant. Africa is undergoing a period of unprecedented economic transformation. Trade flows are expanding, regional financial markets are developing, and cross-border financial integration is accelerating. Initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area and the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System are creating a more interconnected financial landscape. In this context, reliable cross-border position statistics are not just numbers on a page. They are powerful tools that allow policy makers, economists, and analysts to understand the dynamics of external trade and financial linkages.
For nearly 30 years, YFM has strengthened the capacity in central banks, finance ministries, and other institutions across West Africa. DG Baba Musa reaffirmed the institution's commitment to Africa's evolving needs.
Next year, we will celebrate 30 years of capacity building, a milestone that speaks to the decade of empowering professionals, strengthening institutions, and contributing to economic stability and development in West Africa. This anniversary is not only a moment to reflect on our past achievements, but to also reaffirm our commitment to innovation, collaboration, and regional integration in the years ahead.
The regional CBPS course in the Gambia highlights YFM's ongoing commitment to equipping West African financial institutions with the knowledge and skills needed to navigate emerging economic challenges effectively. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Now, on Thursday, the Gambia Revenue Authority organized a day-long sensitization forum for taxpayers in the West Coast region on its latest and soon-to-be-launched digital system, the Integrated Tax Administration System, ITAS. Participants welcome the initiative as it will improve transparency, efficiency, and accountability in tax administration. Ali Sise tells us more.
These participants, also taxpayers drawn from various sectors within the West Coast region, are optimistic about the Integrated Tax Administration System, also known as ITAS, which will digitalize tax operations, making payment and compliance simpler and more transparent. Maud Lamin Sima, an entrepreneur and ambassador at large for business and investment, and Ali Cham, managing director of Cham Global Company Limited, are urging fellow taxpayers to embrace the system once it is operational.
As you see, it is very important as it goes globally nowadays that everything is based on digitalization. So the most important aspect of this is that it will enhance the tax collection, and then actually that would be very important for the socio-economic development of this country.
I think it's a fantastic idea because if you look at the world, everything is going digital now. I mean, in our private lives, we are digital. Everybody's going digitalized. So it's only right that GRA also goes that way. And I think it will help everybody, both GRA and the taxpayers.
The Commissioner General of the Gambia Revenue Authority, Yankuba Dabo, describes the initiative as a major step towards modernizing the Gambia's tax system, stressing the Revenue Authority's commitment to accountability and transparency in all its operations. CJ Dabo said his office has introduced many digital systems over the years to avoid revenue leakages, thereby maximizing revenue collection without increasing the tax burden on citizens.
Without you, the billions that we are collecting, we cannot collect it. It is you who are giving us that money. We are just facilitating the collection. And in doing that, we want to be very transparent and accountable for every butut that we collect. I will say this finally, that the most difficult work that anybody can have is to be given a responsibility of dealing with money. You all know everybody has a need for money. But the money that does not belong to you does not belong to you. So every butut that is collected from you is accounted for. Every butut that is collected for tax is accounted for.
The Deputy Commissioner General, Esa Jallo, calls on the public to embrace the new system and take advantage of its user-friendly features to enhance compliance and ease doing business.
For a good number of you today, a lot of the interactions with GRA will require that you physically visit our offices. We want to make that thing a thing of the past. And that is what the system is going to do, so that whatever you intend to do, whether you want to register as a taxpayer or you want to make payments, you need your tax clearance certificate, all these are things that you would do at whatever location you are present.
Samba Sala, the ITAS project manager, urged participants to make the best use of the training, emphasizing that the success of the system depends on how well users understand and apply it in their daily operations. The ITAS project is supported by the World Bank. It aims to automate key tax processes, including registration, filing, and payment, to enhance transparency, efficiency, and convenience for taxpayers. Similar sensitization forums are scheduled to be held in other regions in the near future. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The Startup Foundation, based in the Canary Islands, Spain, has continued its impactful support to the Gambia by donating a range of essential items to various institutions across the country. The handover ceremony was held at the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service in Bakau. Here's our Bob.
The donations included school materials, supplies for homes for the elderly, and support for social centers such as Dawa Center and Situ Elderly Home and Orphanages. Also, food items were provided to the National Nutrition Agency, NANA, while MAPSI received food supplies along with school furniture to improve learning environments. Sonia Arub, President of Startup Foundation, provided an overview of the foundation's support and activities in the Gambia.
This is the number 12 container, 40-feet container we have brought to the Gambia. And that is traduced to more than 3.5 million euros in donations. in fire trucks for the fire service, vehicles, and such a big amount of donations. But this time, as a petition, we have concentrated for the little ones, for the ones in need, for the small ones, for the orphanage, and also for the sports. And as many of you know, bringing all these items is not easy. This is why I have to say also thank you to the team of Startup in Canary Islands, the firefighters of Gran Canaria that have helped to put everything in the containers and gather all around the Canary Islands, also the fire service of the Gambia.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports benefited from sportswear provided through FIFA, aimed at promoting youth engagement in sports activities. Bakari Y. Baji is the Gambia's Minister of Youth and Sports.
Today, as we are gathered here to do this presentation, it is evident that not only have they been supporting the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service in terms of fire tenders, in terms of equipment, but they have extended their support. And for the clubs, the teams that are here, we know jerseys are very important. And I tell people this, there's anything that people ask me more often when I meet with clubs is give us jerseys. So here we are getting support for jerseys for 5 teams.
Violeta Insa Sandoval, chargeur d'affaires at the Spanish Embassy in the Gambia, reaffirmed her country's ongoing cooperation with the Gambia across various sectors.
Humanitarian, but also security, education, health. And let me finish by doing a vote of thanks. Vote of thanks for the government of the Gambia for their continuous collaboration, also the Embassy of the Gambia in Spain, and of course to the President of the NGO, Sonia Mariama, not only bringing all these items this year, but for the important campaign she coordinated last year, a big campaign to support the security sector reform, the emergency sectors.
Sanko Lindau, Chief Fire Officer of the Gambia Fire and Rescue Services, expressed gratitude to Startup Foundation for their continued support to the Gambia since 2024, particularly for their contributions to the fire service. These donations reflect Startup Foundation's commitment to enhancing education, sports, and social welfare in the Gambia. For QTV News, I am Awa Bob.
I'm afraid that's all we have for this news bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.